Oh my lord.
What?
My camera just went ape shit when you started.
Oh.
Okay, I need to go to the control. I'll go and check out the.
Yeah, we need to have a look at it. Well, I don't know if anyone's actually here. You said someone was waiting. Maybe it's Joaquin, but
Well, I can go and have a look. That's fine.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, if it is, then I don't know. We'll just have to just deal with our video being a bit choppy and just make it a bit more of an audio one, and I'll try and fix it for next week. But
Okay.
because there ain't really much I can do, which wouldn't take an entire evening to sort. So, but I mean, all my CPU's fine and stuff like that, and network's fine. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's just an OBS thing and it looks fine on the YouTubes.
Okay.
I'll wave around just in case.
Can you guys have some sort of conversation? Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Nah, not this guy.
What do you mean? We're gonna play after the stream. We're gonna play some games after the stream.
Probably not. No.
Oh no, you're in bed by 9. Yeah. The thing is, I'm not on tomorrow, Saturday, or no, I might be on Sunday. So I might not catch you before you go to Germany, Caden, if that's the case.
I'm on Sunday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I will be on.
I haven't actually checked to see if we got the beta. For let me just have a look. How are we looking over there, Control Center boy? Oh, the video just shit, is it? Damn.
Yeah. My thing keeps slowing down and then catching up, but yeah, the video is janky.
Is it for all of us?
Fine. Yeah, it's for all of us.
Yeah. I don't know why. Fucking so annoying. I just opened up my MacBook and everything had like a fucking like orange background, and I was like, what's happening? It just did an update. And as with everything, shit just breaks when you do fucking updates. So, I mean, I work in IT.
Okay,
I'm all
fine.
for updating shit, but like, I only use this Mac like a couple times a week, so I just leave it. If it works, I leave it.
What would you say your pro update?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially in IT and stuff like that. They have security fixes and security updates.
I'm very anti-update.
Me too.
Okay. Well, I mean, in a professional sense, you have to update your machine. If you don't, you literally, because fucking hackers and people trying to get your data. Literally.
Because the hackers are updating as well. So if you don't update, then they're out of date.
Yeah. Do you know what we can't hack anymore? Hieroglyphs. A stone tablet. The Rosetta Stone. We didn't have a clue, do we?
Facts. That's pure facts.
It's mad facts.
Go on. What do you say about that, Tim?
I can't. It's mad facts.
Update, boy.
He's got me. I know he's got me.
Yeah, he does.
You're on IT's worst nightmare, Deck.
Get fucked.
Sorry. I guess, but I've never been hacked, so.
Wow, dude.
Great. I'm gonna hack you tomorrow. I'm giving you fair warning. You have tonight to update your machine. Good.
Just gonna see like $2,000 leave my account.
Mm-hmm.
Body pillows.
Oh, let's go.
I don't think there should be such a stigma behind body pillows.
Thank you, Caden.
You think it should be illegal?
No, I think it should be more acceptable to just cuddle with a pillow.
No, that's not quite.
It's got anime ditties on it.
Nah, yeah. See, that's the kicker.
I don't know. I think that's fine. I honestly think they're fine. In a certain environment, like if you just like in my environment, it'd be perfect. But why? Or I don't know.
I just don't. Is that pillow getting washed? Why does it need to have anime titties on it?
They're nice.
They're nice.
Yeah. Are you telling me you've never felt any like, oh, this girl's kind of hot or kind of cute, and you're watching an anime ever? You're just not attracted to. You wouldn't say like
I don't
Mercy
really
from
think
Overwatch is kind of hot,
I'm not really sure that's what's in question.
or
here.
Moira. Oh,
I think there's a big difference between that and a naked Mercy on a pillow. You know
No,
what
we
I
didn't say
mean?
naked. I think naked is weird. I think give me a body pillow that's just nice and comfy.
It just has a woman on it.
It just so happens.
yeah. What, do you want me to have a body pillow with a fucking accountant on it or something? Like
a fucking
Can I
Da
not?
Vinci painting,
Yeah.
or painting or some shit. Like,
Yeah, put Lucio on it or something like that.
I've seen a Lucio one.
Have you?
Lucy. Oh, yeah, definitely is.
Yeah.
Or like Bugs Bunny or some shit like that.
Yeah, just make it just
Lola
a bit
Bunny.
more acceptable, a bit more normal. I think that just
No, I disagree. Bully people love body pillows. That's what I think.
it's 2 against 1. So
Yeah. Screw you, man.
It's not though, is it?
Yeah, it is.
it is though.
I think
It's literally
absolutely
I think if you ask
what it
most
is.
people.
It's absolute
I
fact.
think
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Are
the
most
Rosie
people
Jones,
in this call right now, Deck?
No, it's fucked.
yes.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on, Joyce.
everyone's just fucking. That's why it's
8 billion
lagging.
people joining
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah, we've got 6 billion viewers. Crazy.
That's really funny.
All right, shall we get on with this then?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, it's bumming me out
Let's
of
do
the
it.
video shit. Right. Yeah.
I know it's annoying. I've put it in the chat so anybody joins who knows, and I'm just going to give you a fair warning now as we're just about to get started. If you're watching afterwards, it doesn't get any better. Sorry, the video doesn't improve. The audio will probably be fine. So if you want to go watch us on YouTube, on like Spotify or other podcasting platforms, you can go just there. That's fine. That it should sound a-okay.
Mhm.
You're not here for the looks anyway. Let's face it.
No.
So. Other than that, hi everyone. Welcome to the post showcase quick resume podcast. It's episode 135. It's a big episode. It's the biggest episode of the year, arguably. Apart from maybe the predictions episode, which we didn't do. So we just, we got busy lives.
Yeah.
I think we can blame one person in particular. But just saying.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of ground to cover. I think we're going to do our kind of usual check-ins and everything like that, what we've been playing. But I just thought it'd be nice to just kind of talk about the show at the top, what we thought. We were together in person, IRL. And then I think we'll probably just go down the Xbox Wire post, which I'll actually put in the description. So you can kind of read along with us if you want. So it'll be kind of every game that was announced at the show. I'm sure we'll spend time on some more on some than others. But that's kind of the plan. So who wants to kick us off with what we've been playing today?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll keep it brief because, like you said,
I'm excited to hear about this.
savage.
So ready.
No, I was literally saying I was just going to keep it brief because we've got so much shit to go through anyway this episode
And
that
also,
I don't think we should. I've been playing so many games, but I'll just keep this one brief. Yes, basically I've just been playing Persona, wrapping that up. I want to finish that Sunday. By this Sunday, I want to finish that maybe, and then I'm going to move on to something else, which will likely be like Diablo, or maybe Elden Schming.
Wow.
For the DLC arrival as well, perhaps, but I'm not really too sure. I'm quite excited actually to be able to just pick a new game. It's quite.
Another 7 out of 10 game.
It's quite exciting. Yeah. Oh, thanks for reminding me. Atomic Heart DLC's on the cards too. Thanks, Ken. Yeah. So that's basically it. Played a little bit of Multiverses on Xbox. It still runs like ass. I would say when it first got re-released, I'd probably put it like a 2 out of 10 on its actual fucking like performance, and now I'd probably put it at like a 5. It's still absolutely shocking. So yeah, that's basically me done for this week. What I played.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? Yeah, I'm glad it's like improving bit by bit, but it's like it's so annoying because me and Tim were playing the other day, and you have like 10 seconds of bliss a game where it just like fuck it works. Like the game's smooth, it's 60 FPS, and you're like, wow, I could almost forgive this. And then the game locks up for 2 seconds and you're falling, you're plummeting to your death in the far corner of the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then you blow up. We had that happen a lot. So it's really annoying because I I could really go for some more multiverses right now.
Yeah,
I think it's good. I like the game. Overall, I think I like the changes they've made. It's just performing like dick, so it's a bummer.
agreed.
Go on, Caden.
So this week has been a Steam Next Fest. So I've basically just been like bouncing around lots of like really quite weird, quirky, like smaller games. So not a super intense gaming week really. Obviously still playing some of my Tekken and Street Fighter. That's all just classic. I'm just playing that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of games I've given a go. Wizard of Legend 2, the sequel to obviously the first Wizard of Legend game. Just like a kind of roguelike kind of spell casting, top down like beat 'em up.
Yeah.
It's quite good fun. It's okay. It plays very similar to the first one, just looks a bit prettier and has a bit more like interesting spells, but very very similar. What else have I played? Actually, I'll get to that in a minute. I played an adorable little game called Tiny Glade. I love these little like super relaxing, super chill games where
Tiny
you make
Glade.
adorable. It's a fucking adorable, dude. I love these little games.
That was like the which we'll come around to later, but when that Winter's Burrow game popped up during the showcase, and it was just a mouse, and you were like, "This is me, this is me."
Yeah,
it was great.
So yeah, that's a very very pretty like demo of just building a castle and doing what you want with it. But the only thing about the demo is a tiny like space to make a castle, and it even shows you the space that you can make in the full game. So I was like, this is what you could have, but so that's a little bit cheeky. But another thing I've been playing that I think we're probably going to touch on a little bit later is Flintlock. That popped up on.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know it was a thing until you mentioned it today.
Yeah. I was very surprised when I saw that. So I downloaded that demo and gave that a go. It was certainly a very fun time. Like it connects like sword combat and like gun combat, similar to how Bloodborne does it. In the fact that you shoot someone during an attack and you stun them and you get a big old hit.
That's cool.
And then once you figure out, obviously you kind of bump into your little flying cat fox boy, you get a few little spells that you can then do, and you effectively like fill up like a stun gauge, and when the stun gauge is full, you can do a big attack.
I am a huge fan of magical animal companions. Massive fan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan as well.
He's got a lovely voice as well. Really, really nice like voice work on the
ferret.
I don't know what he is. Magic fox cat boy.
That's it. What's the kind of vibe of that game in terms of pacing? Is it kind of hacky slashy, or is it like kind of soulsy, or is it kind of like what's the vibe?
It's from what I've noticed, it's not Souls-like. It's not really slow and deliberate. It's definitely a little bit mashy.
Okay.
Like you can kind of do what you want, but like there's certain attacks that you have to shoot to stop them doing it or just dodge it. There's obviously classic parry. Like I said, you can send your guy at them to like fill up their stun gauge so that you can do a big old attack sooner. I'd say the combat is like God of War pacing. You know what I mean? That kind of pace to the fight, to the combat. Not on that scale, but that kind of idea going for it.
Okay. Nice.
Maybe a little bit slower with less mobs, but that's kind of the idea.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, and anything else? I've got a few others downloaded that I've not actually got around to playing yet. I really wanted to play Wild Bastards, which was the first-person version of Base. What's the other Bastards game? Space Bastards. I can't remember what the name of the other one is.
Void Bastards.
Void. Thank
But
you.
that was
Yeah.
first person as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's the same thing as that. So I wanted to give that a go. I also wanted to give Tactical Breach Wizards. So it's like
What the fuck?
It's like a turn-based. Like what is it again?
I haven't heard of fucking half the games you play, man.
Yeah, this is what I do. This is my life, mate. That's what I love
It's
it.
fucking bargain bin of Steam.
Yeah. It's like a tactical breach game, but you're wizards, so like you have spells with guns and shit. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I've been up to. Been bouncing around a few little things. Nothing big and juicy at the minute, as I'm about to go away, so I don't want to kind of get stuck into anything at the minute.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Know the feeling. Yep. What are you gonna do while you're away? Out of interest, are you just gonna go on an anti, like a detox, or are you gonna play on cloud? Are you gonna take your Switch? How are you gonna last?
I'm gonna try play a little bit of cloud. Now I'm gonna try do a little bit of cloud stuff. But I don't know what kind of internet situation I'll have, so we'll see.
Yeah,
definitely gonna be the Switch, but I've not touched my Switch in a long time. So tonight I might just do like a Switch crawl, and maybe spend like 20-50 quid on little smaller games and see what I can muster.
Nice.
Sweet.
And I'll definitely report when I'm back as to what I've been playing.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I haven't really been playing much. I've just been playing Star Wars Survivor still, and like it's fine. Like, I don't know. I'm not experiencing the same like magic I had with the first one. I'm a bit annoyed by it at times, actually. I think some of the things they've done with like the map, like the movement and the design, and even the combat feel kind of lazy compared to the first one. It kind of feels like they've bloated it for the sake of bloating it, and at the times it's like it makes it feel worse. Like there's this, I swear this wasn't in the first game, but there's this thing that they have you do in this one where to climb a wall, you just jump at it. So then you're on it and you're like sliding down, and then you double jump forward again. So you like jump off and then double jump back onto it, and like that is how you climb vertically in this game.
Oh.
There are still climbing sections, but it's just like it just feels so unnatural and weird. And it's like instead of there being any other interesting way to get up, sometimes this isn't all the time. There's just a flat wall and you just go jump. You like bunny jump like back. It's just so weird. It just feels so unnatural. It's so strange. And they've like doubled down on like alien enemy types, which like they're no better than they were in the first game. They're still really a bit awkward, and the dodging is still a bit awkward in this. It's doing a great job being a Star Wars game, and there are some things that they've changed which are nice. Like I spoke about some different stances. Like there's like a heavy lightsaber and a gun and a lightsaber, and they're kind of cool. But there's like not that much like flexibility in the skill trees, and I don't know. I'm having a good time. I think it's good, but it's not like delighting me in the way I was kind of hoping it would, like the first one did. And it's buggy. It's buggy as well, man. Still, nothing like game breaking, but like I was expecting it to have a bit more polish, considering it's been like 18 months now.
Yeah.
So, I'll see how my opinion changes on it. I think I'm probably only like not even halfway through yet, but yeah, whatever. It's good. It's good. Sure.
It's longer than I think it should be. I think.
Right, and I may feel that as well. I think it's good. I think it's good. It's just it's not like the first. I thought was like really great. Like I really thought the first was like I really loved.
Yeah, first was good.
So,
I found both of the new weapon archetypes in Survivor like not that great. I hated the cross-saber. The cross-saber was awful. So the heavy one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I hate the cross-saber. It's all about being defensive first. And it's like, I don't want that. I just want to fucking shoot and kill everything.
Well, I'm finding that it's just too slow for most of the enemy variants.
Exactly,
like it doesn't feel like it's been balanced for the enemies in the world at all. It's just frustrating at times. So yeah, I'm thinking about speccing out. And they really punish you for like respecking. Like you have to use a skill point to respec. It's brutal. Like you have to like level up to get a skill point to then use that skill point to respec. And it's like, Why have you done that to me? Like, just let me play around. Yeah, I don't know.
Borderlands still nailed the respec. It just takes your currency and it has a percentage as to what yours is. So you could have 1 million, or you could have 10. Like, you know what I mean, you can still respec. I think that's just the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
Just
You shouldn't need
there is
to
a
punish
cost,
the
but
player for
no,
wanting to
so
try
stupid.
multiple different avenues of what you've
No.
developed and built. Yeah, you should-
Especially in a game like Jedi where you've got 6 different sword stances. 6,
5.
5, like, and you can only have 2 at a time. So if, let's say, you unlock a new lightsaber and you just put 10 perk points into your dual saber, it's just like, yeah, very strange.
Mm.
Yeah, it's kind of coming off playing Cyberpunk, it like where they've made it like really accessible to like respec and stuff on like these really big skill trees. This was just like, I forgot, like, why make this difficult? So yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm getting on. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to a not video game, but a game, Poetry for Neanderthals. I'm of course talking about
It's quite good.
Oh yeah,
it. Quite good.
it quite.
It do be good though.
Should we do the rest of the podcast like this?
So single syllables.
Yeah.
Me think game show good.
Give thumb up.
That's it.
Me like Doom. Shoot,
Yeah.
shoot. Red boy. So yeah, just to briefly explain, we brought a new card. Well, I brought a new card game for when we were all up together called Poetry for Neanderthals. Would highly recommend. It's basically what we just did, describing things in single syllable sentences, and getting through as many as you can. It was really fun, man. I mean, we practically speak like that to each other all the time anyway, so we were quite good at it. But it was still funny, you know, especially with a shot or two
whacking
of tequila
sticks.
thrown in there, and there's a whacking stick. Yeah, there's a stick you get to whack each other if you fuck up. So that's always a good time as well.
Yeah, it's fun.
Clatter your friend around the head when he fucks up. That's what the game should really be called. Okay, are we dying to talk about? I'm just going to hand it over to you guys. I don't have anything to talk about here in terms of new releases for this week or stories or topics for the week.
I kind of left it blank on the assumption that we'd basically just be covering everything that happened in the showcase for this week. So no, a no from me.
I guess this would have been a bit spicier if there were any shadow drops, but
yes,
I guess you didn't quite get that. I guess nothing really within our realm of expertise came out within this week, I suppose, is it?
No,
I mean,
not really.
We've got here the Destiny DLC. So obviously, we used to be big Destiny players, and the last it's the last bit of Destiny 2, isn't it? That's the idea. It's the finale of Destiny 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 And apparently that's been popping off. You know, I mean, Destiny 2 has been hit or miss for basically its whole life cycle, and it sounds like it's going out with a bang. So good to hear.
It's on 94 at the moment.
That's fucking nutty. That's so good.
I'm skeptical. There's been 17 reviews. I get the feeling this has been a selected review pool. Like they've picked the ones who play a lot of Destiny. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but like it's quite weird to only have 17 reviews when it's been out for now over a week.
Yeah, I guess so. But then do expansions generally get reviewed less than fully fledged games anyway, in terms of actual figures?
Not if it's a big expansion. Like Phantom Liberty got over 100.
And I guess like the new Elden Ring one's gonna get fucking like 100 plus, isn't it? Probably. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, 100 plus reviews, not over 100.
It's the first 101 on OpenCritic.
In regards to the review numbers, looking at Steam, it's 8% with 4,500 reviews. So very, very positive.
Still pretty good, yeah.
Steam. Still pretty good, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping they wrapped it up because I don't know because I don't follow it that much, but I think the one before this actually did pretty poorly. Like people weren't happy with it at all, and they weren't either the one before this or the one before that. They weren't liking where the story was going, and the big villain in the end. The weird smoke head man who wants to make a shape for whatever reason. You do you, man. Yeah. So I don't think people
Let me
would.
introduce you to a triangle.
Yeah, the ultimate symbol.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, no, I'm happy for it. I don't think I don't think I'm going to be going back to Destiny 2. I think my next Destiny adventure will probably just be Destiny 3. But who knows? Maybe we'll all want to jump on and just do the story from start to finish and actually see what happened with it, sort of thing. But I don't know. How do you guys feel?
I'm always up for Destiny. I do have a soft spot for it.
I mean, yeah, so do I. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would play it. It's just I think it does speak volumes how Destiny 2 managed to lose us because like on paper, Destiny 2 remains to be the most us thing for us and our friend group that there could possibly be. It's like a sci-fi fantasy shooter with loot. There's also PvP. There was a reason we were so into it back in the day, but 2 managed to lose us. I am sure part of that is also that we got interested in other things as well.
Mm.
But like, I still look at Destiny 2 every now and then. I'm like, why are we not playing this? I
Yeah.
know part of the reason is because it's Destiny, like it's grinding, and I think that isn't something we always want to do now, being two of us being
Adults.
in our 30s. you know,
Don't say it out loud.
Because at the time, all of us were doing nothing. Like collectively,
jack
we were
shit.
doing
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah.
That's the best period of my life.
I just think it's just yeah, there's just too much. It's the sort of game where you feel like you need to get anywhere in it, you need to sink a pretty good amount of time into it. And if you're not doing that, then you're not getting enough out of it, and you feel like you're kind of just not really experiencing it as it should, and you're not actually playing the game as it should. You're kind of only getting like half the fucking product. So like it's a bit weird. It kind of has to be like your one and only game, or like maybe you juggle it with one other, because it just takes up so much of your time to do it properly.
Definitely.
But yeah, who knows?
Interesting. Well, I'll be very interested to see what they do next. As much as we and the community in general kind of shit on Destiny a little bit, I don't think any of us can really deny the trailblazers that Bungie were with that game. They really painted the template for the games as a service looter shooter kind of model, and nobody else really has been able to follow it. Like, in terms of quality, some games have gotten like as good or even better, but none of them have stuck. Like Division 2 comes to mind, but no, it hasn't stuck in the same. I know it has a bit of a cult following, but it hasn't stuck in the same way, and I can't really think of any others that have. I mean, I don't know if I'm missing something or forgetting something.
Shooters, anyway.
No, I don't think so.
Siege. It's obviously not a looter shooter, but it's a live service shooter, I suppose. But
yeah.
that's not the
Yeah.
same.
It's just you would have thought there was enough room in the market for two Destiny likes, with slightly different flavors, but there just hasn't been. Like, all of them have really just not stuck around in the same way Destiny has, and I think that speaks volumes to what they managed to accomplish with Destiny.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think it just speaks volumes more to like just validate the point I made as well. Is like, once you're in, you're kind of just in because you don't have enough time to pick up another one. So it's just like, oh, I'm invested in this enough that I just won't bother playing another one, right? You're like, I also think it kind of just reiterates that point a little bit as well. Yeah,
For sure. Absolutely. Okay, then. All right, cool. Well, in that case, let's sort of get onto the show then. You guys will see on the notes, if you scroll down to the second page there, I've got a link for the Xbox Wire post, which just kind of goes through the games. I suggest we all do that, and then we're all on the same page, and we all know what's coming up next, and yada yada yada. So, the way that we're going to be talking about this isn't going to be the way that the show was revealed per se, but I would like to talk about, the opening and the closing and the strength of the showcase overall. But when we get into the sort of game to game to game to game, we're going to do it in the order of the Xbox Wire post.
okay.
So, team, what was the performance here? We all know generally at large the internet has been pretty happy. Jeff Keighley ran his pop poll, as he does for every showcase that happens, including his own, and it was like a historically high, like 70% rated it an A. I think it was like a sub 5% on the C and D, and then maybe 10% on B or something. To give a rough idea. What did we think? If you had to give some sort of numerical or letter score, Caden, if I go to you first, was this a good showcase?
The Xbox showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. No, I loved it. I enjoyed most of the announcements. I mean, 8.5. Like, it was just a good, fun one to watch. It's definitely one of the better ones for sure.
Great. Tim, thoughts off the top?
I would give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I thought it was not perfect. I feel like they could have had a couple more release dates in there, and I feel like they chop cut a lot of the gameplay, and they could have had a bit more of like more gameplay rather than just chopping it up and really you're having to find it and like dissect it a little bit. But yeah, I think there were some really fun, cool announcements, some really cool big names in there. Yeah, just got to see more of what we like and some new stuff. Yeah, easy 9 out of 10, I think.
Great. Yeah, I'm in agreement. My feeling was 9 as soon as the show wrapped up, and it's still a 9. I think like the presentation was great. Xbox has been really good with this a while since they've got Tina Meany involved. Like a new sort of marketing team. Really, they've been great. Just getting talking heads out the way, quick sentences in here and there. They got Phil, Sarah, and Matt to say something at some point. Kept it short and sweet. But other than that, it's just game. World premiere coming to Game Pass day one, etc., etc. In terms of the variety of games, I thought it was great. One of my only few criticisms was that there wasn't as much of a focus on like experimental indie games. I don't know, some people are going to roll their eyes at that, but it's just I've always liked that, so I'm just being consistent. Like when I've said that I like that Xbox had them in their shows previously, like I mean it. Like I liked that there was usually a handful of them that they would show off, and I'd be like, that looks super interesting, and it'd be Game Pass day one, and that would be kind of exciting. I also was like a little bit disappointed that there was like no multiplayer focus.
Yeah,
the only game really, other than COD, that I can see on the list is probably State of Decay. Oh, maybe World of Warcraft.
Fragpunk.
That was at Summer Game Fest. Valorant.
Fragpunk was
yes,
on there.
yes. Fragpunk.
Diablo is obviously multiplayer, I suppose.
Yes, but in terms
of
new reveals,
railing it right now.
No. In terms of new reveals,
Fable has co-op.
Life is Strange.
I do wonder if it will.
Sea of Thieves.
New reveals, cunts.
Sea of Thieves revealed the new season.
Fallout 76.
Okay. I think it was just State of Decay.
Yeah.
So and usually I like the Xbox, like they like show a couple of like, here's games to play with your friends, and I would have anticipated the tab one would have showed up, but it didn't. So it's no big deal. Like it was still exciting seeing like all of these single player AAAs finally get finally seeing all of them. But it's just for me personally. But other than that, I thought it was stellar. It was so great to see all these games that have been cooking for so long. I didn't think there was a single game here that showed badly. I think everything showed from good to amazing, somewhere in that range. So yeah, that's kind of it off the top. And largely, it seems like most of that's kind of by consensus. And I will say that I think it's just worth throwing out the praise, the flowers to Xbox where they deserve it, because like they've gotten good at these showcases now. Nobody else really is doing it like they're doing it this time of year. I mean, for whatever else the brand is doing, that's fine in its own conversation. But in terms of having like a good meaty showcase, like they've gotten good at it now finally. Because I used to complain about that all the time about like the shit that they would put up on the screen, and they'd show a car off for 5 minutes and people like dancing around it. And it's like, please show a video game.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Cool. All right. So I did just wanted to, before we sort of get into the game by game, I just wanted to have a quick conversation about the opening, because it kind of took us a bit by surprise. We did a bit of a bingo and we took some bets on it and everything. Tim, how did you feel about the show opener or the show opening?
The real one or the Call of Duty one?
Well, yeah, I mean the Call of Duty one. Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah, I wasn't too buzzed to see Call of Duty open up the show, to be honest. And we even there were just kind of like, it's not the real opener. The real opener is coming next.
yeah.
And yeah, I kind of agree with that because like I don't know, it's just not exciting to open up with something that you know is going to be there and you know is getting an extensive look at the end of the show and like just a bit of a weird choice. I get that they probably thought we're gonna have a crap ton like more people watching this because of Call of Duty, so let's hook them in early and be like, let's show them like some gameplay of it, and then if they like what they see, they're going to stick around for the after thing, right? Rather than drop off. I get it; it makes sense, but yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. But you know, we're not COD boys, and yeah, I would have liked them to open up something else, but yeah, it was alright.
I don't really have anything bad to say. Like, I think you have to realize, like, over half of the people watching that show, I think, were watching it for COD. Like,
Yeah,
nothing else.
probably.
So, like, I think they kind of had to, really. Like, it's a huge deal. COD is now an Xbox thing.
100 million players a month.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Why? I still don't know why.
I think it was fine. Like, I think the showcase was great. Like, for Black Ops, it was fine opening with that. I know what you mean by like it doesn't have that exciting factor. Like, you know, what's going to open the showcase. But
just to be clear as well, because I think you're both absolutely right. Like, I didn't like whatever. It didn't bother me so much. I was because at the beginning of the show, I was like kind of excited to see COD. I was like, oh, maybe this will you know, be kind of exciting, and in the end it kind of wasn't for me personally, but that's fine. But like again, so there is like an element of like it's a bit strategic, right? And it does make you wonder like how effective is this going to be, like the fact that Xbox is leveraging COD, World of Warcraft, Diablo, you know, to get eyes onto their showcase and, you know, to get people seeing the power of Game Pass and all of that.
I think you're gonna hit me
But
with a
secondly,
figure. Oh, never mind. I thought you were gonna hit me with a statistic. Sorry.
I mean, I am about to hit you with a statistic, just
nice.
not that one. This COD trailer that was revealed at the showcase has gone on to become the most viewed COD trailer ever in history.
Okay.
in history ever. So not even
in history
in the age
not
of
even
mythology.
History, in the age of in the century of our Lord and Savior, Colonel Sanders.
Is he our savior? I feel like he's my downfall, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty fascinating, right? That the more people that and I wonder why. Like, is it just because there was a lot of anticipation behind Black Ops 6, or is it because Xbox like gave this and Activision obviously gave this like a particularly big push, or people just love
were
Black Ops
watching it? They were like, "Oh, I hope Xbox fuck up Call of Duty."
Yeah, just hate watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could have been an element of people also that don't like follow the gaming news and media and stuff like that. Like they wanted to actually see, like, what's the deal with it? How is this going to work with Games Pass? Like, like they just wanted that confirmation of, oh, I do just need said subscription. So, honey, I don't need to spend £70 this year. That sort of deal. Just getting their confirmation now.
Yeah, and it's a good point because obviously we got confirmation. I think it was like last month that they were going to put COD on Game Pass, but they just wanted to, I suppose, you know, put it on the big stage and just say you're going to get to play with Game Pass. And maybe that high figure is indicative of some sort of interest. You know, that it is going to be in Game Pass. You know, I don't know, but it's going to be really fascinating to see how that pans out because there was also. Some of the devs went on for some interviews afterwards, and I think some of them had said like we didn't find out that long ago that the game was going on Game Pass. So like, you know, can you imagine like the sort of conversations going on behind closed doors about like putting it on Game Pass? Game Pass, you know, like Phil turning up in front of Satya Nadella and, you know, like Microsoft CFOs, like people who have enough money that they could like buy small countries, you know, and Phil turning up and be like, let's give it away for free. Not for free, obviously, you know what I mean. and all of them looking at him like, huh?
He's lost the fucking plot. He's done. He's cooked.
Yeah.
Man's cooked.
Like I would love to be a fly on the wall for what those conversations are like. They must have been going around in circles trying to figure out the play, because obviously they're running the numbers on it, but I've got to suspect the reason that they're going with it is for the stuff that they can't see, and trajectories and projections and stuff like that of ecosystems and network effects. It's not just about the people you're bringing in, it's the fact that it's going to bring other people in, unknowns and things like that. So it's going to be super fascinating to see how that turns around, and it is very interesting that the trailer has gone on to get this many views, which, by the way, as of right now, is 53 million on the Call of Duty channel.
Oh,
Not
53
even including all the
mil,
other
dude.
channels, is it? That's crazy. It's probably like 80
53
million overall.
squilliams.
53 squilliams.
It's mental.
It's a lot. Just by comparison, on the Xbox channel, the Fable trailer has 704k. Not even a single mil.
What about Gears?
Nuts, dude.
I reckon Gears has got a lot.
Yeah,
Let's
Gears
have a
has
look.
probably
I
got a
think
lot.
Gears
Gears
does
has
have the
broke 1
most. I
mil.
think
Easy.
1.2 mil on Xbox.
Yeah.
So times that by 53, maybe 51, and you've got Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, super interesting. Okay, great. So great, yeah. So I just wanted to have that sort of talked about, because then obviously we went into Doom, which I don't want to have the conversation about just yet, but that was a fucking banging choice to have as the actual opener. Like, I like the pan around him with his armor, his medieval armor, and the fucking
that
shield.
fur
My God.
cape.
That fur cape, bro. That
You
fur
go,
cape.
king.
Yeah. Man. Okay. So let's start from the top of the article then, of the Xbox Wire post. Weirdly, I guess they've done it in alphabetical.
Alpackable. Alphabetical.
Here we go. Alphabetical. I
Nice.
still kind of said it weird.
You
I
should
said-
pass
you
out your
nailed
keyboard.
Alphabetical.
This is like your chicken. This is your version of chicken for me.
Yeah.
You fucked, mate. That's it. You're labelled. You're done.
Can you just give us a couple of chickens into the mic, please? Please.
Chicken.
Don't think
Chicken.
about it. Just say it normal.
Chicken.
Say
I
it-
am.
say it- say it
Hey.
as a normal-
There's normal ones in there.
say it
Did
in a sentence.
did
Say it in a
you
sentence.
enjoy your chicken when you came to
No.
visit? the other-
He says it's like chicken.
I don't.
You do. There's a T in there, dude. It's
There's
to
not a
chicken.
fucking T in there. You fuck off.
I need to get a soundbite of that and put it
There's
in
a T
Discord
in
so we can,
fucking.
we can just
Give it into a Google AI translator and it'll put T in the front.
and see what it says. Yeah.
She's laughing there.
Okay, so the first one here is Age of Mythology retold. So very, very quickly, big flowers. As Tim knows, I have endlessly bitched about Xbox making games like this and putting them on PC and just saying, yeah, you'll get it on console, whatever the fuck we want. They're not doing that for the first time. They're doing one of these releases, which is, conventionally a PC game, and it's coming out across all platforms, day one, on Game Pass. I'm excited. I'm excited for Age of Mythology. I think this is going to be really fun. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition was a sleeper banger. It did really well on PC. I think it just did okay on Xbox. It's the perfect sort of game for Game Pass for me. How are we feeling about Age of Mythology retold?
Yeah, chef's kiss, man. Did you guys watch the extended gameplay they did on it?
No.
Oh yeah, no.
I've watched that. Ha! I think it looks
Wow.
good.
God, he's
That's all I have to
informed. He's
say.
so-
No, yeah, man. I mean, they just kind of dove into it a little bit more. To be honest, it wasn't like crazy, kind of what they talked about. They were literally just like, oh, this is what it was like in 2002, and these are the models now. Look how much prettier it looks, and like you can do this. But like, it was just cool to see more gameplay of it. I got to see like a whole army of alligators with like reflector beams on their head and just burning down buildings with sunlight, streams of pure sunlight. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, it just looks fun. Yeah, I mean, even Tilly's quite into it because she used to play Age of Empires, like when she was younger, like with her brother and stuff like that. So she was like, I'm actually kind of vibing for this. Like, I could see
Oh, yeah.
myself playing this. And yeah, I still don't know if they'll be able to do like how the co-op works. Not co-op necessarily, but like, will we be able to like 4v4, or is it just 2v2,
Yeah.
or is it?
It would have the same system as Age of Empires, which
Yeah,
you can do all that stuff.
and you can share like the same
I don't
army,
know.
right? Yeah.
In 2, when we played 2, it was you could do up to 8 versus 8, but you weren't using the same army. You picked different civilizations.
You were an alliance when
you were in alliance. There were like co-op campaigns, which was like PvE, where you did control the same army in some instances. There were like historical battles. I don't have like an official answer for you, but yeah, I mean, I would expect you could do like at least 4v4, but like it's a different game than 2.
That'd be
so
cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be cool. It's fun. It was really fun to do those big battles.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically kind of all they went into. So yeah, I am kind of vibing for this, and I'm pretty excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And we got release day as well, which is really nice, September 4th, which was great. Add it to the roster for this year. Day on Game Pass. Yeah, that's nice. Add it to the hits that we've got for the rest of the year. I'm really happy with that. Next up, we've got Avowed, which is a bit of an interesting one. God, that key art is still so fucking cool. It's cool.
It's really cool. It's probably like the best like cover art I've seen in a long time.
It's so cool. Yeah, it really is. And we got like another like quick kind of gameplay demo where they kind of showed off a bit of combat. They showed a bit of environmental, destruction. I think they burned down a bramble. A bit of like combat where they had clearly tried to emphasize the work they had done on like combat reactivity since January, because a lot of people sort of highlighted that as a problem. But it was still a bit of a weird trailer. They keep doing. I don't know whose decision it is to keep making these trailers for Avowed, but I still don't think it's selling the game particularly well. They just keep showing fast cut bits of combat, and even though I think the combat looks really fun in this game,
yeah,
and I say that because I played a lot of Grounded, and I know Grounded feels pretty good. So if it's like the same system, which I'm pretty sure it is, with like expanded physics, spells, RPG playing, yada yada yada, I know that's going to feel pretty good, as long as there's like enough variety to the combat loop, etc., etc. So I think I think that part of the game is going to be good at worst. The rest of it is probably going to be great because it's Obsidian and they do that stuff really well. They've never made a bad game, Obsidian. So I don't know why they keep doing trailers like this. But I don't know if what did you guys think coming off that trailer in the showcase? Because obviously there was a deep dive which I've watched, which we'll talk about afterwards. But what did you guys think about it here?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I have a lot of faith in Obsidian and like what they're going to get up to. I do remember. I don't think I'm as hyped for this game as you two are, because I do remember when it was first shown off, when we were talking about it in this podcast, I was probably the least excited for it out of all of us, and I still feel like I maybe still hold that, but I just do think it's partly due to the fact that they're showing it off wrong.
Is it climbing for you though? Is your interest climbing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, of course it is. It's yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I kind of agree with that. They're just kind of showing it off the wrong way. They're not showing the strengths of what they do. They're not, at the minute it's just like a standard RPG thing. They're not showing off what makes them different.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
And it's kind of it's kind of a weird one where you don't know if it's because they don't want to show it too much in motion or like combat wise and stuff like that, because they fear it might get criticized for just being a bit jank, or like, oh, it's just Skyrim but colorful 15 years later. Maybe there's like a little fear of that, or maybe they're just holding their cards close to their chest and they just don't want to show off all the cool fucking spells and guns and shit and like all that sort of stuff. So you just don't know. It could kind of be either or, but yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to trust Obsidian. And yeah, going into what deck, obviously, we've all watched the extended showcase, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So that showed a lot better for me. I do still think it was a bit rough around the edges in some places. But generally it was nice just to see them approach a mission, approach an area, and I thought it was really cool that the outcome was different, just how you even just went into the area. Like if you just went in no brain hack and slash, then that tree lady was really fucking pissed off at you because you killed everyone. But then you could like stealth in and stuff like that, and it had a different outcome, all that sort of stuff is like what I'm looking for in that game. Like interactivity with the world and the people around it, and yeah, just seeing some of the stuff in real time motion. So I thought that showed a lot better for me. Yeah.
And I think that's like a common sentiment that popped up actually. Like I was having a look on the on like the YouTube video and on the Avowed subreddit and things like that. And after watching the deep dive, everyone, and even on r/games, just like the main games subreddit, that are typically quite critical of like mid showings, which a lot of people seem to have thought the last few Avowed showings have been, and they listed like the features that they spoke about in the deep dive, or the top comment has anyway. And then they said Obsidian, and then to summarize, the top comment said like Obsidian is cooking, they continue to be masters at underselling their own games, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think I think it goes to show how the marketing so far hasn't hooked in like the crowd of people who actually want to play the game. I don't think it'll matter because it's turned out like Avowed isn't going to really be a blockbuster hit. I think it's going to be like maybe a nice RPG to throw into the catalog to keep people subscribed to Game Pass. Maybe it's a sleeper hit and it gets into like mid 80s, and then it's like it's kind of in the talking territory for some Game of the Year awards, at the end, like best RPG of the year, maybe direction, things like that. Like it might pop up in some of those if it gets that high, which would be great for them. So I would agree that everything they showed off in the deep dive was a lot nicer. I would say it is really pretty. Like it's on a UE5, I think, and I really do like how the game, like the environments look. I think the environment and the lighting looks really great. I think the biggest problem is, like Tim was saying, that like because so much of the game they have clearly scaled up, like with the time and the budget they've had, it makes the lower budgeted stuff really stand out. Like the faces still look like
Pretty garbage.
yeah, like obviously there's no like motion capture, it's just hand animated, and it still doesn't really look that good. The animations like the third person animations in general, like enemies attacking you, like really vary. Some of them again look kind of stiff. I think they've done it intentionally to some degree because they want attacks to be like have clear tells, so you can block and parry and things like that, which is fine. But again, it like because the rest of the presentation of the game is really strong, it really stands out when there's like a fairly janky looking animation amongst like this really pretty environment. And the last thing I'll say is that they keep standing out to me, which doesn't really have to do with budget. It just seems like a bit of a misstep or maybe an oversight, is that all the voices just sound like a dude or a gal talking in a voice booth. There's no like filter, there's no effects. It's just like in the deep dive, they showed like this tree like goddess basically, like who was had inhabited the forest for like since the creation of time. Just a woman, woman
Yeah.
talking.
They
Like
could have made
no
it
sort
have
of
like
reverb effect
yeah.
or anything.
Yeah,
It just took me out of the
100%.
experience a little bit. So I don't know if that's if they've got time left for that. I mean, that does seem like the sort of thing you'd do it right at the end. So maybe, but especially because we didn't get a release date, right? Which was weird. And then it was leaked on their own
Oh,
website to
yeah.
be November 12th. So right, in November. But and then that was taken down. So who knows? Who knows? At this point,
Weird. Very
Yeah,
weird. This
it's
didn't
weird.
get a release date, in my opinion. Because yeah, I mean, at least that trailer they showed at the actual showcase didn't really show much more than what we've kind of already seen. It was kind of just like basically like another sizzle reel of Avowed that wasn't that much different to the other one, and then they still didn't slap on a release date. It's just kind of just like, what's going on here? Could you not have just done the deep dive on this and then just put something else here in this instead of the Avowed in the showcase? But I guess they want it because it hasn't been marketed great and because it's not reaching the right audience. They were like, let's just throw another trailer out and see if it sticks. But if you throw the same thing at the wall every time that's not sticking, it's just not going to stick again, right? You can't just keep throwing the same shit at the wall. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I like that. That was a good metaphor. That was good, yeah.
Yeah. I nailed that. So yeah, about 2 out of 10.
Any thoughts from you, Caden, about like the deep dive?
No, nothing more than what I've already said. Like, it's definitely made me more interested in it. I just, yeah, I want to see more. I'm certainly gonna play it. Like, I'd be dumb not to.
Yeah. Okay. It's worth very quickly covering. And we won't spend this long on every game. It's just we've had a deep dive on this one, and we all have a collective interest in it. So that's just how it is. But very quickly, in the deep dive, they were like, "Oh yeah, there's a third-person camera, by the way," and like I saw like a lot of excitement over that. A lot of people were like, "Oh great, I can play this." Because I will say as well, the FOV is so far in on
your
the
hands are like
first-person
here.
segments. I got to playing the game through binoculars, like seriously. So I hope that there's a FOV slider because I prefer to play these sorts of games in first person, and especially if some of the animations are going to be like a little bit rougher, like it's going to take me out of it a bit. So whereas the first person animations look quite good actually, like the first person stuff, because they've got a lot of emphasis on the hand movements and the spells and shit. So that was good. And then they showed off some of the skill trees, the companions, like you said, some of the narrative stuff. And I was even reading an article today, I think that they spoke to the director, which is Kari Patel, about like how the magic works and stuff like that. And you find a lot of spells out in the world, which I think is baller. Love that shit. It's not just all skill tree. There's some in skill trees, but you find grimoires, which are the book, and it sounds like they've been quite careful with the lore, which the Avowed subreddit has been really happy about, especially since that deep dive. They're like, oh, okay, they're taking this quite seriously in the way the Pillars of Eternity universe works, which apparently people are very fond of in terms of how like the magic system works and how that is downstream to the gameplay and everything like that. So that all seems to be in place still, which is really exciting. I've got to say I'm in largely agreement that the deep dive made me a lot more comfortable. I was like, okay, I have a sense of how this is playing now. And actually there's quite a lot of nice touches throughout. Like one of the things they were talking about was, how they when they were under leveled, their attacks were like bouncing off or like glancing past. Yeah. And then when they got leveled up, the hits then started like, and there was more hit flinches and stuff. I thought that was like a nice little touch.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I reckon there's quite a bit of that. Excited for Avowed. I hope it does well. I'm really rooting for Obsidian to knock this one out. I'm fairly confident at worst it's going to be good.
Yeah.
At best, it could be a sleeper. It could be a sleeper hit, but we'll see.
Nice.
Whenever we get the release date, whatever that's about. Do you guys think they do another deep dive
on Avowed?
Or just get a release date trailer? Yeah.
Nah.
Not a deep dive. They'll do more trailers, but not a deep dive.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Do you think they're not giving a release date because they want to be open to a delay?
Yes.
Potentially.
I think I mentioned that quite a while ago, I think.
Interesting. I never even thought about that, but yeah, maybe. Especially with, like you said, if it is around that November time, it's uncomfortably close to something like where indie is rumored, right? So, yeah, maybe you're right.
Maybe. Okay. Well, one to keep an eye on for sure. I think it's
Joaquin
says pretty
well,
but it's
release date at Gamescom, you knob.
Maybe.
Oh, no.
Maybe.
Never mind. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I would have said release date at the showcase, but there we go. Okay, we've got Call of Duty next. Any thoughts or opinions about Call of Duty? Any omnidirectional opinions or commentary on Call of Duty?
I'm excited. I've not touched COD for a long time.
Really? They got
I'm
you?
gonna get this. I'm gonna get this
Oh,
COD for
they
free.
got him.
No,
Guns
it's for
go
free. I'm
blah.
not spending a penny on it.
Guns
which
go
means I'm
blah.
gonna play it, 'cause that's simple.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's I'm obsessed with zombies. I'm a huge zombies fan, so I'm gonna play it for that anyway.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it because I'm not buying it. So
You got 300 gig on your Xbox ready to go, yeah?
I might play it on my
PC. Sorry,
How about that? Cool like that.
that's true. Yeah, didn't hook me, COD. I might play for the Zambos. I don't think I'll do campaign, and I don't think I'm gonna touch the multiplayer with a 10-foot pole.
But dude, you can run backwards.
It's
You can sprint
omnidirectional.
backwards.
Yeah,
It's omnidirectional.
I can't even move those sort of movements in life, in real life. So that's it's impressive.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. I mean, these are soldiers. I mean, like, you know,
Sandwiches. These are
Doesn't do that,
sandwiches.
I can lie down
These
and I
sandwiches.
can like what is it? Where your legs flick out when you spin around when you lie down. I can't do that.
Have you ever
Yeah.
dolphin dived
Damn.
with a gun?
Yeah.
Nice.
With a
Actually,
gun.
I've got a story. I think I can tell a story.
Go on.
We were doing fucking shooting and stuff, and someone dived down and their rifle went up through their top lip, and it split their top lip in half. So they looked like a little crab.
Oh, that's gross. So like the barrel just like
thought-
split his lip.
Nah, the iron sights, it hit his lip like that, and it.
Ah,
They went home, got it sewed back together, and came back outside.
gross, dude.
Yeah.
I thought that story was going in a completely different direction.
Well, he just
And I was like,
blew
why
his
is
own
he
head
so-
off.
Yeah.
was
So
doing
why is he so
dolphin dives.
jovial about this? Yeah, he dolphin dived and he gun went in his mouth and he blew his head off.
No.
God.
Man.
Nice.
So we do dolphin
Yeah.
dives. We are qualified.
Well, he did split his lip with a gun, so it's still pretty funny. My taxes.
Okay. October 25th. So earlier than I would have thought. They've got it ready to go. Obviously, day one, multi-platform, all the consoles, everywhere. It's cross-gen. Game's going to be huge. Game's going to be huge. No denying it. It's going to suck up all the air. Okay, let's move on to Doom then. Who wants to blow their load first?
Oh yeah,
Well, you didn't even say the word properly because I think you already started blowing your load by the sounds of it.
you can blow your load on this one, Deck. We you go,
Hell yeah.
man. You go.
Oh yeah.
Have fun.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking do it. All right. This is such a good trailer. Like, this is so good.
One of the best trailers ever. So good.
It was like exactly what you would want. When you hear when Doom: The Dark Ages was leaked, this was like exactly what you'd have looked for. Like there was enough of such a big shift in color palette that made it feel really different. Enough of a change in design that made it feel different, but not such a different change that it didn't feel like Doom anymore. Enough difference in gameplay variety, but still felt like a Doom game. There's a shield. The game seems to be just a touch slower to allow for like blocking and parrying. There's fucking parrying in a Doom game. And he like rips the shield, it spins around, he fucking throws it. Man, it's so good. And there's even they seem to have increased like enemy density at some point. At one point, he jumps in and does a big shield bash, and like 10 of them go flying everywhere. Soundtrack sounded good from what I could tell. The design, I was before the showcase, I was even like, experiencing quite a lot of pre-cum for Doom guys, medieval armor. And he had this wolf coat. Oh my god, like
it was cool. His helmet
ticked
just
all the
looks
boxes,
like,
man.
is his helmet different too? His helmet just looks cool. It's got like a two-tone
Yeah,
to
it
it.
is
Like he's got like a visor on like the top, like a halo kind of like chunk on top. It looks cool. And yeah, the spiked shoulder pads, dude. Oh, fuck. Like
And
actually,
then like just when you think like when you're like full chub, like he climbs in a mech and starts fist fighting like like a titan.
yeah.
Um,
Did you see the
and
bit
then
where he's on the dragon at the end of the trailer, and the dragon is just breathing fire down a giant demon's fucking throat?
yes,
I was like,
yes, I did.
yo, let's
What's
go.
going on? Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Anything from you, Caden? Do you have anything different to say from what I just said?
No, I'm a huge Doom fan. Like, I immediately when I watched that, I put Doom on download on my phone. I got back and it was downloaded, ready to go. I immediately played it and I restarted the DLC because I want to play the second DLC that I never played. So I'm gonna play through the first DLC, finish that, and then play the second one. And yeah, it still feels fantastic to play. Like, I'm very, very ready for it. Like you were saying, there's a very deliberate shift, but they've nailed the entire aesthetic still. It's like you said, it's still Doom, but it's actually a new Doom game rather than just Doom with Doom with swords. It's now Doom with lots of other shit.
Yeah.
Because I honestly I was if this was just another red Doom again, I'd have been like, oh, this is exciting, but it's more Doom. It's not. They didn't have to do this. They did it anyway.
Is it Mars?
It's great.
Are we on Mars? Is it medieval Mars, or is it somewhere else now?
That's such a good point.
How did you just said that, and I'm watching the gameplay. I'm like, this isn't Mars.
Didn't look like Mars.
But you do go to Earth in Eternal, don't you? Like you do go back to Earth.
Yeah.
You
fucking shoot yourself out, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Don't climb with a gun.
What a fun game.
I'm gonna climb with a gun. I just watching the trailer again. You know, in Cuphead, where they shoot little projectiles and there's a little pink one that you bounce off of, and you get like a, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm so interested in hearing where this is going. Yeah.
So when he's fucking shooting a boy, like he shoots little like lasers. There's a green laser that's like a different color to all the other ones, and later in the trailer he parries and he goes green. So I'm wondering if there's like a Cuphead mechanic where some projectiles you can like.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. I literally just saw that then, and I was like,
I like that. That's funny. Like they're talking down and talking to like the Doom team. They're like, so what's been your inspiration? For Doom, the Dark Ages. It's obviously very hyper violent, very gory. What's what are you thinking? And they're like, have you played Cuphead?
Yeah. Remember those little
pink worms that crawl on the bottom and you can bounce off their head.
Yeah.
Those fucking jelly beans. Yeah.
Yeah, the jelly beans.
Have you fought the jelly beans in Cuphead? Yeah. Just them.
But yeah, no, the game do be cooking.
And honestly, 2025 was a bit of a surprise. That's earlier than I thought. That is absolutely baller. I just hope that for 2025, next year, they have an even more improved cadence. Like they're getting better and better every year. But like again, even this year, from January until May with Hellblade, second half of May, like what is it with Xbox being unable to spread their releases across the year? Like fucking here's 6 games in the last 4 months of the year.
Yeah, so they just forget.
Yeah, so
like fuck, we were supposed to do release dates. Where's Avowed? Yeah,
Good. Glad we can all agree this is baller. There is one elephant in the room, I suppose, to talk about, which is the fact, of course, that this is launching on PS5. Any comments about that? It's the only big one of the show, which is launching day one. And of course, that doesn't rule out anything else in the show from launching on PlayStation in the future. But this is day one. Any thoughts there?
Kind of. I mean, I don't like to see it, but I can understand why it's there because, it is kind of like all the others have been multiplat, so it would feel like a bit of a gut punch to just not put this everywhere. And I mean, Xbox is very much in the camp, and they've always said that they just want to put good games everywhere and have as many people play them as possible. It benefits the developers, it benefits everyone making these great games, and that's fantastic. Obviously there's still the benefit we get it Games Pass, so we have that. We don't have to pay the £70 for it. But yeah, I mean, you don't love to see it, do you? When all these acquisitions are coming through and you're spending so much money. But I can see why it's there, and I wouldn't say I'm bummed out about it. I think I'm more bummed out about the prospect of just potentially everything else at some point reaching, to the point where, yeah, as we feared, it just becomes a point of why are you in the Xbox ecosystem unless you're a bit of a bargain gamer, and it actually just makes sense for you to be a Games Pass subscriber and just never buy a full price game. Maybe that's just Xbox's future. I don't know, but that's the bit that potentially still has me a bit on the fence. But yeah,
I think there are many more conversations like this to have in the future, and we've already had it a few times. If you've listened to the podcast, we've talked about this quite a lot, as have a lot of members of the community. So I don't want to get too much into it here, but I think it's totally fair, and I reckon there are people who don't follow it as closely as we do must be looking at that and being like, why is Doom launching on PlayStation 6? Fucking hell, PlayStation 6, yeah, PlayStation 5.
God.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
leak.
And I wonder how that's being received by the casual and core audience. And I also wonder how it's being received by the PlayStation audience. Like, was the PlayStation audience expecting this to skip? I don't know. It's just probably causing a lot of uncertainty. But as I say, there's more conversations about this to come.
Majority of people probably
now
forget Xbox even own Bethesda. They probably don't even know it is under Bethesda. It just
yeah.
No skin off their nose.
So true. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's keep her moving then. Next up, we've got Fable. I think we're actually... Yeah, it's all the first party stuff first. Okay, that's great. So next up was Fable. I thought this was 10 out of 10 trailer.
The cutscene that is a game.
The cutscene that is a game. That's right. Yep.
10 out of 10 is very generous, I think.
I think there could have been more gameplay.
There could have been a lot more gameplay.
I don't always need gameplay. Like I'm looking at the trailer. Like if I'm coming into a gameplay presentation and they're not showing me gameplay, that's like a different story. I just thought this was perfect. I don't know. I like the bits, the small slices of gameplay I saw were so fucking great that I just have nothing but impeccable confidence in like what Playground's doing. Like I can't believe they're nailing it this hard, to be honest with you. I might be getting a big sigh because we haven't seen like an actual slice of gameplay fully, but I just really feel like they're nailing it. I feel like I'm the most confident in Fable than I am in anything else in Xbox's lineup right now. I'm more confident in Fable than I am in Doom. I don't know. I shouldn't be, but I am.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it's looking great, and I will give you that they're absolutely smashing the tone of the game and like the humor and like just the world building of how they're presenting everything to us watching. Yeah, it looks phenomenal, but I don't know. We just haven't really seen the game yet. So yeah,
we still don't have any info on it. Like we just. We know it's an RPG and that's it. We don't know about the good and bad. We don't know about is that character a custom character or not. Like we still don't know anything about, like you said, the game. Like, I don't know.
I think it is still a custom character. Actually, that is a good point though, because in other Fable games you kind of just picked a dude, didn't you? Male, female. Yeah.
So like, are they going more Fable 2 or are they going more Fable 3 or like we don't know what kind of. We know nothing about the direction that it's going in regards to how it wants to be played yet at all.
And as much as Playground is smashing it, they just and they're getting, who are they getting help from again? Is it Crystal?
Eidos Montreal, we found out.
Eidos.
We found out at the showcase.
Yeah. So like they've never made an RPG as well, right? And I'm sure they'll smash it, but this is the first of their kind with this sort of game, and it is quite the project to take for your first one. So I mean, I'm right there with you, Deck. I'm feeling confident in it, but I'm not like 10 out of 10 out of everything Xbox is presenting. I have the most faith in this. No, I'm not quite there with you that high, but I think it looks very, very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, totally fair. Totally get it. It's just what it's doing for me. Like the bits of gameplay that we've seen, like just in all of them, like even last year's trailer, which was was similar. It was like a little vignette of someone in the world, and how that connected to the main story. Yeah, it just like it's super fun and exciting, and even like the little bits of gameplay. I think I said to you, Tim, like when we were watching last year's game showcase before this year's one. I love because there was like a couple of bits where she like trips him and like stabs someone and then like throws a fireball. I like this, like the amount of like love like in the animations there is just like it's like through the roof. And like I really like they like she throws the fireball, she doesn't blast it, and I just think that's just such a cool nuance they didn't have to add, but they did, and the game's still a year out, 2025 next year, which again was super exciting for me. Like I'm really surprised we're getting this next year. And then even then, like in the snippets of gameplay we got in this time, like she stomped the ground, floated everyone up, and was like, shooting them with a bow and arrow, caught a crossbow, and chucked it back. And I think like the tone of the trailer like seems to imply that there is kind of a like there's no way they don't do a like dark light system, good evil system. And I think that they've got so much more to show of this game. Like, remember, this is being made in Forza Tech, that this is being made in the same engine that they make Forza Horizon in. And what that means is there's going to be some bonkers like environmental stuff, like seasons changing, a Bugatti driving through
That's what the joke I thought in my head was.
Yeah.
Like, cars everywhere.
God, that'd be so funny.
Yeah, man. Imagine like the post credit scene crossover. You like sitting on the throne, and then like a Lamborghini pulls up. Cut to black. Yeah, like and I always remember like what I said years ago when they first announced Fable, and why they chose Playground to do it was Peter Molyneux, who was originally the director at Lionhead when they were making the original trilogy, like always used to oversell like the tech they were using when they made Fable. He was like famous for like really just lying, basically. And one of the things he said that all of the team like hated him for was like, yep, in Fable, if you if you go over there and you hit a tree and an acorn falls down, you come back later, a tree will have grown where that acorn fell. Like that's how advanced like we're doing this stuff. Because obviously you grew up, didn't you, in the older Fables? Like you started as a kid and you grew up. So they had like the sort of time progression. I bet they do that. I bet they do that sort of shit here because they've got it all already in the engine, like the whole like foliage growing throughout the seasons. Like I bet that they have stuff like that going. I'm super confident in what these guys are doing with Fable, and I'm so happy that even as weird as the racing team game got it, I'm so happy that they were chosen because yeah, they're just crushing it. Super excited.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, where have my notes gone? Oh, there they are.
God, we still have so much to go through. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, we're just prioritizing the first party stuff, and then we can maybe pick and choose as we go through the rest. Because we don't
even first party stuff. So a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, and again, 2025, really, really nice. Okay, Gears of War next. Tim, I'm going to throw it to you because I think you were the most receptive or the most perceptive, I think is what I mean, when we were watching it. How'd you find this trailer? Gears of War E-Day.
Was I? Okay.
You're the only one watching it, basically.
What? All right. Yeah, I thought this looked pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought it was a great trailer. Obviously no gameplay or anything, which I heard some people like talking about that. It was just ridiculous. They were like, yeah, but they didn't show you gameplay. It's just like, it's an announcement. Like, what? Some people are really weird. It's like, if you don't see 10 minutes of gameplay of fucking new Gears, it's just not good in the show.
They did do that with Gears 5, if I remember. There was immediate gameplay for Gears 5, if I remember.
Was there? Oh, okay.
I think so, off the top of my head.
Okay, that'd be interesting.
Anyway.
We'll fact check that later.
It's in engine though.
Yeah, it is in engine. But yeah, I really like what they've done here. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I am excited to play Gears 6 and finish off that trilogy with those characters and Kate and stuff like that. but I do think that they were losing a little bit of steam with it. So I think to just reboot the series and to just bring people back to what they love, you two little fucking bum boys skiing, Marcus Phoenix and Dom, it's gonna be
Dominic
great.
Santiago.
Yeah, exactly. He looks really sad in that trailer, though. I will give him that. I mean, I guess it is E-Day. He's not always going to be happy.
Yeah.
But like,
He shouldn't be. His wife's still
I
alive.
tried to grab.
His wife
Yeah.
and kids are still alive. He should be happy. Happy as
he should
Larry.
be. He should be happy as fuck. Yeah. But yeah, like I just really think they just brought it back to its roots and just giving it kind of the reboot it needed. It looks really fucking grounded and really like heavy hitting and just I feel like they're gonna just nail that sense of just fucking just dread and the fucking world is ending and there's just shit going down. No one knows what's going on or what scale this is. Just insane. Imagine being in that situation. And yeah, just a really cool trailer with the whole rendition of like the little Mad World like in the background as well. They put some notes in there for that. Just really top notch. Yeah, like I just think it's gonna be really fucking cool, and I'm really excited to see some gameplay of it.
Absolutely. What about you, Caden?
Yeah, I totally agree with the time period change. Like the new trilogy was dropping off for me for certain. Like 4, 5, they're fantastic games, but I just didn't care as much than the original trilogy. And it must have been a ballsy decision on their part to kind of not give up, but just to move away from the trilogy that they had in mind. That's quite I respect that decision they made, because
for sure.
For it. And I think, like we just talked about earlier, like the reception on the trailer is massive. So I do think that's a very common opinion. I think that's the majority, sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with the both of you. Like I liked Gears 4 and 5. In 5 in particular, I really liked the campaign. I do think that they tied them. They did. I write themselves into a corner a little bit. I think with the ending of 5. Those who know. So that I don't know how they're going to resolve that when they eventually come to it. And I did like Kate's story. JD was a bit boring. I was Marcus's kid, but even JD became more interesting in 5. Became like a bit more political thing. Like he took action and put civilians at risk for what he thought was the greater good, etc., etc. Like the writing in 5 was just generally better. I think it was, the problem is that the world hasn't really gone anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like nothing's really changed since Gears of War 3, like even arguably since 1, but there's enough variety in the Locust to have made 3 games. They tried to introduce the DBs or whatever, and I thought they were fine, but I know that the reception to them were a bit middling, and I would agree they're still not as good as the Locust. The Locusts are like god tier in terms of like enemy design, generally just amazing.
Yeah.
But like since then we had like the Swarm, which was just kind of like yellow locust, and then there was a couple of variants. There was like the grabbers or whatever, and they were cool enemies. But again, like it's just kind of snatchers, not grabbers. Yeah. So me too. Yeah, but again, it's just kind of like it's just kind of a step or two forward rather than like anything major. So I think this was like a perfect move for the franchise. And as we know, like Phil Spencer, we did that interview afterwards with IGN, and he was basically saying, well, Rod Ferguson, who's now leading Diablo over the Blizzard, that was a different team, and now it's a slightly different team at the Coalition, and they wanted to kind of do their own thing rather than pick up at the end of someone else's trilogy. So they're coming at the beginning again, and then they have said that they are going to go back to Gears 6. But I just think that sets up. I just think that's perfect, because I've always said Gears 6 should be a Marcus story to like wrap all of this together. I've always said that, and maybe a send off, a Logan style send off, and I just think this couldn't be a more perfect way to do it than do like a pure origin story. How he gets everything. Where he's like a real weak source little guy, which is like what they show in the trailer. He's getting his ass kicked by a single fucking locust, pinned up to the ceiling and everything. To then jump to Gear 6, where he's like, more grizzled, and he's like probably, a bit more evolved and everything. So it's like bookending the whole double trilogy basically. I think that's just like this was a really clever move. And obviously it's also really exciting because it's like it's so far before the main trilogy that it's basically in its own territory. Like it's 14 years. Like
Yeah.
Marcus and Dom here are like 21 or 22. You know what I mean? Like they're really young.
Yeah.
And it has been so fun. This is probably the trailer I've watched like the most afterwards because it's been so fun watching like reaction videos to this. I don't know if you guys have done any of that. But having like gearheads, gears heads like watch it and then get to the end and the final notes play with its Dom and watching everyone like burst into tears. It's just been like amazing. I just think they nailed the trailer. And the more I've watched it, the more I've picked up on like the subtleties and the nuances that they wanted to convey with like how inexperienced Marcus is, how they're bringing like the fear back to the Locust and making even just like a grunt really powerful and scary to like strip the power fantasy away a little bit and make it a bit more of a horror. They've said it's more of a linear. They said it's not going to be scarier, which is I think what a lot of people have wanted. And just to like outline that, at the end of the thing where he like grabs his gun and he shoots the Locust, Marcus like flinches at the shot. And that's, it was a very intentional like cut where they show you like him flinch when he shoots, which is just like, I just think it's a good understanding of the character, I suppose, is what I'm saying, and like where he would be at that stage in his life. So I have the utmost faith in the coalition. They always do good stuff, and I have even more faith in the leadership now that they've made this decision because I think this is like perfect. I think it's exactly what they needed. They could really reinvent some of the gameplay here, and I think most fans would be like okay with it. Like if they wanted to push it into a slightly different direction, they could do that. Like imagine Gears, and this is only sort of a semi joke. Imagine Marcus Phoenix when he was this young used a fucking grappling hook, and then at the end of A-Day he loses it, and then in Gears 6 he finds it again, and you know what I mean? Like so they could carry over a gameplay mechanic, or whatever,
Yeah.
So yeah, just really wonderful stuff. They get it.
Yeah, I think this has the potential to be like probably the best Gears game if it's done well.
I think so. Yeah.
Like out of all of them, including the original and 3 and 2. Yeah, I genuinely think it could be. Yeah.
I've just left my pen on my little candle heater here, and it's melted.
How much melty are we talking? Oh, that's big melty.
It's like a sharp. It's like ergonomic now, isn't it? That's the word, isn't it?
Ergonomic.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, ergonomic normally means. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's.
I'm doing the bendy pen trick.
It's a boomerang, mate. Throw it, it'll come back.
Yeah. Blast out the plastic. Yeah, hell yeah. This is great. So excited. I didn't think I could get this excited about Gears again. Yeah, here I am. So, Oh, I might as well tie this in while we're talking about it. Just to add, Tom Warren reported, by the way, that his sources are telling him that Fable is due to release between October and December 2025. And just a few months ago, he had heard that Gears of War E-Day was targeting a release in 2025, even ahead of Fable.
What? No. I would not have thought that would be a 2025 game. That'd be nutty if that ends up being a 2025 game.
I mean, when did Gears 5 finish? When was Hive Busters?
2020, because it came out. It came out for the launch of the Series X, didn't it?
Because it means,
yeah.
There would have been. I mean, that's not long. That's not a long time.
2020. No, it would be 5 years. Yeah, I mean,
including.
If they're making like a linear story game with no multiplayer, like bear that in mind, they might not be making multiplayer.
I don't think they should do that.
I think they should. Fuck the multiplayer.
Yeah, I think they should.
I watched that fucking clip you put on Twitter earlier, Deck, and I was like,
"Oh, did you? I'm glad you did." Oh,
I was like, "This is fucking mental." The guy was just he looked like he was lagging. It's lag spikes.
I think I know which one you mean. Yeah,
it's just mental, dude. Just fucking bouncing everywhere. God,
it's so stupid. Yeah, it just doesn't look like it looks like I'm watching some sort of dev build. Do you know what I mean?
It looks like they're cheating.
Yeah. I get, I legit get whiplash watching it. Like it's awful.
So unless they're reworking the whole multiplayer experience, which if you are, good luck, talking to your fucking fan base. I don't bother. That's my opinion. And maybe they are doing a collection, and if they are, then just announce that when you announce the release date for Gears 5, and you can say like, Gears 6. What am I saying? When you announce
Gears
the release
E-Day.
date for Gears E-Day, so then that they can say, wash their hands of it basically, and be like, look, all the purists, like, look, you're going to have all of this multiplayer on a match composer, and you can all, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they must be looking at the performance of Gears 5 multiplayer and thinking the same thing to themselves. They must be thinking, does this have legs anymore?
Yeah.
But that would be. What was that?
Yeah.
A little squeak.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So that would also be fucking nutty. Like, just to put into perspective there, that 2025 would be Doom, Fable, Gears E-Day, South of Midnight.
That's like OG Xbox right there.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is bonkers.
Doom, but...
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, great. Let's keep her going then. Where are we at? Indiana Jones. Anybody have any strong feelings about this one?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think we've talked about this before. It's not our generation, is it? Really? We've mentioned it a few times, I think.
Yeah. So is this like you're not playing, or is this like maybe,
No, I'm playing.
or like what are we thinking?
It depends how. Have we got a date for this?
Nah.
They just said later this year.
Later this year.
It's probably December, but I don't know.
It depends if there's nothing around it, I will.
If it's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just from the gameplay and like this is not my thing, and I know what the films are like, and they're not really my thing either. But I know for some people it's that's what they love. They love the slapstick. You know what I mean? That kind of idea to it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for people who are excited for it, but it's just not my time, and it's not my kind of game.
Mm.
But I will give it a go if nothing is nearby to conflict with it for sure.
Well,
Tim?
yeah. No, I'm playing it. Yeah, I'll 100% play it. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I think it'll be a good little single player adventure with a bit of comedy thrown in there, and some probably pretty cool, neat moments, with like stunts and shit going on, explosions, and it's Machine Games, and they make good little tailored campaigns, and I think it will be good. I think personally, the game will actually. I think this is going to pop off for quite a lot of people. I think this would be quite a highly rated game. I think people will love this as a single player game. I think for me, it's going to be a bit of a fun time. I might wrap it up and give it an okay score because it's just not really 100% my vibe, just from the generation we're in, and I never really clicked with it. But yeah, that's where I sit with it at the moment. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I am interested in how many people are also feeling this way. I'm a bit warmer on it, I think, than you guys are. Like, I think, I have a lot of trust and respect for Machine Games. So, like, I kind of, even though again we keep getting the gameplay like snippets, I kind of have faith that the gameplay sections are going to be good. I think that again, like they're crushing it in the tone and the vibe of Indiana Jones. Like scarily good. Like even like when they're having like their little fist fight and it's all goofy and shit. Like they're animated.
Punches nowhere near him.
Yeah, they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah,
like they're
yeah.
making it look like an 80s action movie, where it's like they're like these like fake punches, and like the guy slides past and they back off and they're like, and then he punches him. It's so goofy. I think they're really crushing that vibe. And yeah, if that's not for you, yeah, I think that it's going to be probably still a good time, but maybe not get super enjoyment out of it. But I think for people that it's for, they're going to fucking love it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think this is the one that Xbox stands a chance of getting into the Game of the Year conversation. And I think they probably know that. And I think that's probably why they're being careful with the release date. I bet that they want to get the codes out in time for the TGAs so that it can be in that conversation. Which is smart. I think they need to start playing that system a bit more, to be honest. I think it's a good word of mouth. And it's always a bad look every year when, despite winning awards in other categories, quite a lot actually, they just struggle to get one into the Game of the Year category. So maybe. And this one isn't launching day one on PlayStation. This is still an Xbox and PC day one. So cool. It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how that shapes up. Microsoft Flight Sim. This is a bit of a weird one because it was just kind of a copy paste of the trailer from last year.
Yeah, it was the same trailer with like, here's jobs that you can do.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was even the same trailers because I remember seeing like the MVP transport last year, and they just showed that again here. So, I mean, whatever. They didn't dwell on it or anything, and they gave us a release date. So, cool. This is probably going to be like a 90+ open critic game. Just so we're on the same page. It's probably going to score that highly.
Yeah.
I won't play it. I played the first one.
Agreed.
Perfect Dark, probably for me, probably the gameplay of the show for me, I think. I know there's a lot to say about how this was all stitched together and everything, but I'm interested in hearing your guys' thoughts, with a bit of reflection and time since the show. Tim, I'm going to start with you because I know you had some things to say about it.
Yeah, it looked cool. I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. I don't know, man. Maybe it's the espionage that it's going for, but I don't trust this game. I feel like that was quite stitched together, that trailer, and I think it was quite how do we say it? I guess E3-esque. Oh, let's walk down this corridor. Oh, I wonder what's around that corner. Oh, like everything just kind of felt like it was on rails for that trailer a little bit. And I don't think it's going to play like that so much as you saw it be presented. But I can't deny that what I saw, it did look kind of cool. I just feel like it's one of those games that might be kind of telling some white lies a little bit, and we'll just see. And I also said to Caden, I think I said this to Caden as well, where I just feel like it might just be doing, I don't know, like a little, like it just doesn't really dip its toes. It's only dipping its toes, in so many different of these categories where it's just shallow in all areas. It's shallow in the fact of it being a first-person shooter. It's shallow in the fact of it being like a Dishonored esque. What do they call it? Immersive sim, all that sort of stuff, and it just dips its toes enough to just be shallow in all areas but not great in anything. So that's kind of my vibe on it.
What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, no, that is what you said to me, like, and I'm watching it now, and it doesn't know quite what it is at the minute. But I never touched the old Perfect Dark, so I don't really know what the vibe was for that game anyway.
This is nothing like them. This is nothing like that.
That's what I've heard. I've heard it's just a new thing, and like the first one was all like completely like techie sci-fi, like futuristic tech. Whereas it seems this one they've gone for a bit more kind of mainstreamy, kind of normal futuristic tech, the normal future tech you can think of, wall hacks and
listening in on a conversation
like that.
from far away.
It's just like, so I don't know if they've not shown off the Gucci tech
it's all
yet.
gadgets. I mean, like the old Perfect Darks were all gadgets as well. Like it was all gadgety. But in terms of the gameplay, it was more action shooter. Whereas this has got more like sim elements to it.
It's okay. I'm not blown away by it
see
anyway.
more?
Yeah, I need to see more, of course. But I think they need to show what their main direction is. Like, this is an immersive sim. This is a stealth-focused or something like that. You know what I mean? I think that they need to show us what it actually is.
Okay. So yeah, I guess for me, like I said, I was really like excited by this gameplay showing. Obviously, being like an immersive sim lover, like I immediately picked up on it when I saw the gameplay happening, and then I saw like the parkour movement, and there was the gadgets and stuff, and I was like, yeah. Oh yeah. This is ticking the boxes. Um, I do agree. Like there is some stitching going on like throughout the trailer, and I'm not sure if it's just for the sake of keeping it fast, or if it's because they're smoothing over some stuff that isn't quite ready yet. Don't really know, but overall, like it was enough to get me excited, especially because we were coming off like the rumors for the last 6 months that this game was in such terrible condition, such an awful state, and it's just I'm just not getting that impression at all here. Like generously, I think I could say they're hiding some rough animations, but we didn't get a release date. This could be 2 years out. Like, this doesn't look like a game that's in rough state. So I was just very surprised and happy to see that it was looking good. And I don't really agree. Like I with what you guys were saying about not being sure what it wants to be. Like for me, like I think this is like predominantly a stealth action, like immersive sim. Like that's what it kind of seems to be from what I'm seeing. And they say as such in the Xbox Wire article. And I think the cherry on top is like that there's this kind of parkour movement system which looks pretty good as well. But I will add, like you are right, like again, and like how is this working? Like, can I do this on any wall? Or is this just the wall with the yellow paint on it? Like,
Yeah.
can I wall run on any wall to get to that place? Because that's awesome. Like, that's really free flow. Like, can I actually use my imagination? You would have thought that would be the case, and that is like a perfect blending for like an immersive sim. That would work wonderfully. But if it's just like I can only do it when you say I can do it, that's a bit less so. But on paper, in concept, it was enough to get me really, really excited about like actually how the game plays. So really happy to see it personally. Really glad that it looks like it's shaping up nicely. And I hope it finds a new audience. I hope it does well at reinventing itself, because it's obviously an older IP now, and it's it could have been anything. And for me, I'm glad that this was the thing that they landed on.
Yeah. Nice.
South of Midnight. What a cool one, right? What a
Very cool.
surprise! What a lovely little surprise. I've watched this a few times because I've shown it to people, because it's like quite easy to show to someone who maybe doesn't play games as much, as like, look how cool this
Pretty
is.
to look at, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? It's not
Yeah.
it's not hyper realistic. It's not hyper stylized. It's such a weird little middle ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I totally agree with you.
Yeah, but
Good game to just show off.
yeah, I mean, I'll just throw it to you, Ken. Yeah, how did you feel about South of Midnight and what we saw?
I love artistically what they're going for. I like die for games like this that are just, as soon as you see a freeze frame of this game, you're like, oh, that's fucking. Well, actually, maybe not a freeze frame because of the way it moves, animates. Maybe a 5-second clip. You like immediately know what game it is. Like there's some games where you're like, oh, was that this game or is it that game? Whereas this is just immediately South of Midnight. I love the. It's not stop motion. Like we said it's obviously animated on twos, but what's the word for that? It's like, I don't know, the animation
half frames.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's such a weird, interesting way of doing it, and it because of the art style and the actual like theme of it, it suits it perfectly. Like the little fish boy, great, love him.
love that fish boy.
Love him. More about that.
He's a good lad.
The voice work, just the characters were really interesting. Like I really want to know more about Fish Boy and Lady Man. Like love it.
Yeah.
Combat, like I'm least excited about the combat, if that makes sense. Like I think the rest of the package is so interesting. I want to see more of it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that immediately when the gameplay actually kicked off, we were like, oh.
You're like, oh,
yeah, okay.
Okay.
That's not bad. That wasn't a bad okay. It was just
no, it's just I was not expecting that.
Yeah. So the combat showing was pretty weak in the fact that there wasn't a lot. It was a boss fight that happened for, what was it, about 10 seconds, less than that?
Yeah.
Something
and
like
then
that. Yeah.
She went on a little glidey thing, and then
kites thing. Yeah.
Did a tiny bit of climbing, and then that was it. And then it was a cutscene. So
yeah.
As far as gameplay wise, it's a very weak showing, but I'm still super interested in the game in regards to like what it is and stuff like that.
Definitely, I would agree. Like the bit that has the most question mark still for me, yeah, is the combat, because it was a bit like go into arena, XXX dodge, XXX
Yeah,
dodge,
yeah,
XX finisher, and like there wasn't anything particularly interesting going on. And I suspect that there will be more. You know, like there were some little abilities up at the top left there. Um, and it looked pretty, like it was all animated very nicely. It looked very responsive and yada yada yada. But yeah, that's the thing that I'm wanting to see next, like the combat,
yeah,
because the rest of it, like to me, was just like
yeah.
it was
I'm
just chef's
immediately sold
kiss.
on it. Like the combat just needs to be okay,
Yeah,
and
it
then
was
I
competent
feel
and
like
it looks
everything else
competent.
is gonna be lovely.
Definitely. And I think it's really cool getting a interpretation of like American South. Like you don't often get
Mm.
um American games focusing on American folklore. Do you know what I mean? Like you
Mm.
just don't really get that. You get other cultures like the Bayou, the Hunt, the showdown was like, you know, famously like that similar sort of thing. Um, and I think also, like you said, that the voice actors here are like really crushing it. Like
Yeah,
particularly, like I'm really enjoying like the exchanges. So he's like, "I don't have a disposition to be crocodile bait," and she's like, "Me neither." Like it's great. It just works. So I just really enjoyed all of that. I like the vibe. I like the mystery of like a weaver, and she weaves, and what does that mean? And then there was even elements of traversal, like, you know, I think I guess my overall thing here is that this ended up being it's presenting like a much bigger budget game than I thought it was going to be. It might not actually be a big budget game, but they're punching above their bloody weight if it's not. So that's, I think, was the most exciting thing for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim?
Yeah, no, I think I'm about on the same sort of hype level as you guys. I thought it looked pretty fantastic. Yeah, I thought, yeah, I agree with all the art styles and how it ran and looked, and yeah, voice acting, all that sort of stuff. I think the combat, yes, it's enough to get by, and I think that's all it's going to go for, really. I don't actually think it's going to try and push combat that much. I think it's going to be one of those games which uses the boss fights, because she's like a weaver, or like she's like collecting these souls or whatever or something. I remember them saying something like that. So like I think the boss fights and stuff like that are going to be more like ordeals and cinematic, you know, with a bit of combat spread in there. You know, like you're riding on the giant fucking alligator that's like swimming around and knocking into things, but then you climb on its back and you whack a spike or two for a bit, and then it breaks, and then it jumps into another. It's going to be that kind of combat.
It's
That
going to be
kind of
cinematic, it looks like.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to keep the combat basic, but they're going to make it cinematic, and I think that's how they're going to approach it. And I think that's the way you do approach it when you got a game that looks this cool and this stylized and
yeah.
pretty. So I think they're nailing what they're going for, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
Great. This is just like a Valve for me. Like my fingers are really crossed for this team. Like I hope, like there are other games like Contrast and We Happy Few obviously haven't been hits. They've been like in the 60s. So I am like raising an eyebrow a little bit of like, can you pull this off? They've really upsized since those games where they only had like a team of like under 10 people. Now they've got like 70 plus. So I'm really hoping they can pull it off, and this can be like, you know, their marquee game. You know, their standout, like this is what Compulsion is capable of, because Compulsion was a weird acquisition. Like, you know, we should be honest, like Compulsion, they acquired them in like 2018, and they're just about to release their first game 7 years later in 2025. Yeah, and they hadn't really put out a hit before, so clearly, you know, the team saw some talent there, and I hope that pays off with South of
Mm-hmm.
Midnight. Okay, State of Decay 3 is the final first party one here. I'm really excited for State of Decay 3. I am. I'm really excited for State of Decay 3. I've seen a lot of excitement for it. I think so much of whether that excitement will stay depends on the execution, the evolution of the loop, you know, what they're changing, what they're doing with it. But like the on a presentation level, it's such an amazing step up. Like I'm almost a bit skeptical, because one looked about right for its size and scope on 360. State of Decay 2 looked not good, in my
Mhm.
opinion. It should have been a bigger upgrade than it was. This looks like a legitimately good Unreal Engine 5 game, like a very good looking game.
Mhm.
In terms of animations and it's just general presentation, and we know the coalition has been helping out for that as well. Even just with the tiny like gameplay slices we got, I think it was all running in game. It's just was different camera angles and made to look cinematic. If I throw it to you first, Tim, this time round, what are your thoughts on State of Decay 3, the direction of the franchise, the trailer?
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. I'm still not 100% sold on it. I want to see some more um moment to moment gameplay and how those systems still work that you play
Definitely.
State of Decay 4. None of
Mm.
that is still explained, whether or not they're diving deeper or they're just kind of keeping it the same but scaling everything else up with it, but keeping the systems that everyone kind of knows and loves. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I thought the game, yeah, it had a massive glow up. It looks really good. But yeah, I just think that that's kind of the main thing, really, is just kind of seeing more of it. They've already established it exists still. Two, it looks good. You don't have to worry graphically. Like this thing looks good, and it's gonna hopefully run pretty well. They've established that they've sorting out their shit co-op experience in the sense of Tether, whether or not Tether's still there, but just like extremely maximized, because that really ruined the second game and the first one as well. So yeah, I just think it's established those things. Just show us more of the in-depth mechanics, how all that stuff's going to work, and you might have me. But they haven't quite got me yet. But it looks decent. Yeah.
Kaden?
Yeah, I never really put much time into State of Decay. Actually, I didn't touch State of Decay 1 at all. My first experience with State of Decay 2, and I honestly don't think I played it more than maybe 2 hours or so. Um, I just don't think it's. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the game. Like the concept of it in general isn't my cup of tea.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
I understand it's obviously survival and you're surviving as a group more so than you as an individual. So it's definitely an interesting idea, and like building up your settlement and building up your characters to make the settlement better. I get that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can't really say much on it. Again, if Game Pass, I'm gonna play it. It's that simple. Um,
Yeah.
I like Tim said, I want to see actually what is happening from morning to nighttime. What's the deal?
Yeah.
What's the idea? Oh,
Mhm.
how are they approaching death and stuff like that now? Yeah,
Profound.
exactly. No, obviously it's a big deal in regards to like permadeath and losing
Yeah.
people, and obviously that's part
Yeah.
of the trailer,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Was losing someone. So
Definitely.
um, yeah, I want to see how they approach a full day
For
of
sure. Yeah.
gameplay.
Totally with you guys. I think the trailer said all the right things, in terms of or showed all the right things in terms of showing me how it looks. Like the combat seems to have got a big glow up. There's like body part damage, like there's some shoot out the knee of the zombie and they collapsed onto so they've got kind of a regional part of the damage in different parts of the zombie's body, which is great. It'll make the combat feel a lot better. They still had the cars. They had this emphasis on co-op clearly, and permadeath is still there. Because the thing is with State of Decay is like it's a hard pitch, like it's quite hard to describe because there's a lot of there's kind of this the meta game where you go out and get resources and you grow your camp and things like that and get food to look after your survivors and you get more survivors, and then you're micromanaging the base and you're getting the survivors which have different traits and so they do different things. Like really, the pitch is like in my head, like this is the way I think about it, which is exciting, is you have the management component of an XCOM game. You get new soldiers, survivors who have different traits and buffs and abilities and stuff like that. And they can die. They can just straight die. They all have permadeath. They're always at risk of dying whenever a zombie horde attacks, or you go out and you take a couple with you. You know, that's always a risk. But then you've kind of got this action part of the game where the shooting is really good, and there's vehicles, and you know, there's the zombie variant, and and you can play co-op, and there's like events maybe in the open world. You know, and I think on paper those things can go together so well. It's the real PB and J, I think. Like on paper, like it is possible for those things to really, really mesh well. It's just I think you're going to have to nail the execution and convince everyone that you've nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think they have so far. Like that's what's 1 and 2 have always been like great conceptual games, like kind of pilots almost. But I think like if they really get it right, I think that this could be so fun. Like, you know, like I said, imagine like, you know, the tension of me taking a Tim and a Caden out, and I mean like as AI bots with like these amazing stats who I've built up over ages, and you know, there's a risk of the permadeath there. You know, I think that's really makes for an enticing sort of kind of gameplay loop.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I just think like you said, they just need to convince people, because as much as the first two are good, like you said, they've kind of been leading up to this final product, this, you know, the one that needs to be good, and you're not going to get another chance. You know, third game into the installment, if you don't hit it, you're done. You're lucky to get 3. So
yeah, that's right. In this economy,
there's a lot riding on this. So yeah,
for sure. And it's they're I can see that they've got co-development partners as well. Blind Squirrel Entertainment, never heard of you. Wushu Studios, I know of Wushu Studios. So they've got, you know, they've clearly, again, they've ramped up to really make this sort of a bigger budget production. And just to read like a paragraph from the Xbox Wire blog, which I think just speaks to us 3 in particular. Quote, we're heavily emphasizing engaging co-op combat, taking a close look at our level design and approach to how we're building the world to ensure that players can have a blast smashing and shooting zombies together out in the open world. To support that effort, combat needs to be downright fun. We're looking at deepening our combat systems, our designs for enemy behaviors, and our animation fidelity to level up the moment-to-moment experience across the board. Like, again, saying all the right things, because the combat in the other State of Decays was like not particularly fun, to be honest. So great. And the final thing I'll add here is that it came out as well that they had help from Obsidian, from the Grounded team, to make like the dedicated shared worlds so they could be persistent. And so anybody could just join at any time. And again, I think that makes for such a good foundation for a co-op game. Like you and your mates can just hop in, especially, you know, as like older adults, you know, when we're not all on at the same time. Okay, just go into the shared world and like, you know, crack on. You know, I think that's really good for like, you know, establishing like regular play sessions. So again, saying all the right things.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I appreciate that we are coming up to 2 hours. So to our listeners, we're going to skim through the rest of the showcase in terms of if we have anything to say about any of them. So we're just going to pick on the ones which we have something to say about. I think we covered the most important stuff with the first party announcements, and I'm sure we'll talk about the rest of the stuff, you know, in the coming weeks and months as they come up to release. But we have lives as well, and it's late here. So, guys, from the rest of the page on the Xbox Wire blog, is there anything that you just wanted to quickly talk about and say your piece about?
Diablo 4 trailer, one of the best trailers ever.
Disgusting.
Oh, cinematic.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, dude.
That was insane. It was like a jump scare. I loved it.
It was horrible. Yeah,
it was really cool.
So yeah, that was probably my favorite trailer. But I guess for me, a game that I love and I know you guys haven't touched, like don't really care much about, but Life is Strange.
Oh, I think you're gonna say Alan Wake. Sorry.
Come on, man.
Not quite. So really excited to see Life is Strange and return to the first game. Well, not return to it, but an extension of the first game, quite literally, because that's what the second game wasn't, or the third. So excited about that, definitely. Like Tim, I think I know what your probably favorite game was, and I want to
Yeah.
jump on that as well because it looked awesome to me as well.
Go on then.
Well, you say it. I've had my Life is Strange pitch.
Does it have a number in it?
I want a 33 now.
Yeah. I'd say the one I probably want to talk about the most, I guess. Let me just have a quick scan through shit. Yeah, it's probably Expedition 33. Yeah. Yeah, I thought this game looked fucking fire, dude. I thought this game looked really, really cool. I absolutely just dig the fucking world that they've kind of building here. It's just so, I don't even know what it is. It's kind of like high fantasy, kind of steampunky, kind of like Bloodborne-y. I don't even know, man, but it just looks so cool, and the enemy designs look fantastic, and I love the art styles, the turn-based combat. Just give it to me. And hopefully it doesn't have the 70-hour JRPG length, because this is like a Western, like kind of one of these. I'm hoping maybe it comes without like the insane bloat that sometimes JRPGs have. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of that in a lot of respects, and I love JRPGs. But like, yeah, maybe this one just doesn't quite have that same level, and it's just a really cool, stylized, awesome turn-based RPG. Yeah, I'm super stoked for this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a kind of surprise of the show for a lot of people, wasn't it? Like generally the third party showings were really strong, but I think Expedition 33 was like a big standout for a lot of people where they started showing the gameplay and everyone was like, whoa, hang on a minute. Like it looks gorgeous. It's got Ben Starr in it, there's like some real action combat going on here alongside with the turn based and the HUD and the UI looks fucking classy as hell as well. Yeah, like it was hitting a lot of the right notes, I think, for a lot of people. I mean, I'm with you. I think this looked great. I'm excited to see how this performs and how this started. And it's day one on Game Pass.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but still no, it hasn't even got like a year of release as far as I'm aware. But yeah, exciting nonetheless. I'm gonna keep my eye on that one for sure. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could quickly touch. I thought Fragpunk looked kind of cool. I thought that looked like it could. Yeah, that could look like. I mean, you can go ahead and talk about that one, Dex, since we've done one each. Sure. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Fragpunk. Obviously, we're looking at another 5v5 rule-changing hero shooter, as they said. It's a deck builder and a one life round based 5v5 shooter in the same way I believe Valorant is. And I think Counter-Strike as well. Obviously not the hero shooter bit, but and so it pops up and you're kind of rolling your eyes like, oh good, here's another one of these. And then they start doing all sorts of silly shit. They start doing silly shit. Like they're not like crushing cards. It's like plus 2.5% damage, increased fire rate. No. Big head on your enemies.
A giant fucking
they crush
head.
it. Yeah, they crush it and a fucking garden grows, like where they're standing, and he hides in the grass and then shoots the boy in the back. They crush it and the Grim Reaper follows a boy round and finishes them off after they've shot them down below a certain health threshold, And in some of the CGI trailers they've shown like a room flipping upside down, and I was like, hang on a minute, this is a non-competitive, like have fun, get some cards, hero shooter. And I think we were all kind of like pleasantly surprised that the longer and longer the trailer went on. And just again, reading off the Xbox Wire post here, 70 shard cards, 10 heroes, 14 weapons, and 4 maps. That's like the plan for day one. 4 maps is a bit weak, but
70 cards.
That's
right.
Insane.
That's a lot.
On the card front, have you guys seen the extended trailer of this yet?
I haven't yet. No, I meant to. No. Should I have a look now?
Maybe, because I was about to spoil a card that is insane.
Okay, go on, tell us about it.
Well, so the idea is it's like you're this guy planting a bomb, and then basically some guy ganks you, and then he puts a death on you, like that card that you talked about earlier, where he chases you and kills you. So he pulls out a magic card that he literally picks up a piece of his UI, and puts it on somebody else. So the UI that he grabs is his own health bar, and he gives it to the other guy, and then death kills him instead because obviously he's got lower health.
Oh, no way.
So shit like that. That
That's
was
cool.
part of the trailer, exactly. And I'm like, if they've only shown off what, like 6 cards, maybe, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm really excited to see what other mental shit they come up with, because it's a what do they say? Rule changing. Rule changing.
That's what they
hero
said.
shooter. So I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, it's kind of one of
Or
those things
how
where
what
nothing's
they
off the cards.
Yeah.
That should be their catchphrase.
Oh,
A shooter where
yeah.
nothing's off the cards.
Oh,
Wait, the expression is off the
'cause it's
table.
on the cards. No, on the
Am
cards.
I messing this up?
Nothing's off the cards.
Nothing's off the table, I thought.
Nothing's off the table. But
Cards on the
both.
table.
Cards on the table. There are no cards left on the table.
You're just saying a statement now.
Why haven't you put a table in my birthday card?
Why are the cards on the table? Or the table under the cards could be, I suppose.
Yeah, that's that one. Anyway, yeah. So that looks cool.
Definitely.
Metal Gear was interesting, I guess. Not a huge Metal Gear fan, but I thought it looked pretty cool. And I was actually quite surprised to see it.
Over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. It's like, I think Snake Eaters are very, very fondly looked on Metal Gear game. So yeah, to have it like fully remaked and looking as good as it does, yeah, it's going to have people very moist for sure. So
I mean, like I said, like I'm really glad we're in the age of kind of like remakes and remasters, especially for some of these like old timer classics, which I haven't played. Like, Mass Effect was one of them for me. I got to play that whole trilogy, and that was like, I loved that. Like, I'm so glad I got to experience what everybody yaps on and on about with Mass Effect. And I feel I'm kind of feeling the same thing here. Like, I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game, and this looks great, and everybody's saying how great and faithful it looks to the original. So this looks like, if it scores well, it's got to be something I've got to jump into to find out. And Resident Evil 4 as well, right? Never played a Resident Evil game. I got to play that. Like, I get it. It was fucking fantastic. Even though I know they reimagined a lot of it, but still, like I got it. I get it now. So I like being able to do that. So I'm really glad that this is a thing and it is looking as good as it is.
Nice. Yeah. Agreed.
Speaking of looking good, a game that looked a lot better than I think a lot of people were thinking of was Stalker 2. But actually looks like it's coming together. Like, I remember I was super skeptical about this game, and kind of rightly so, obviously with the situation in Ukraine, but this is coming together now. It's actually looking a bit nicer and playing a bit nicer. I was quite surprised by it.
Yeah. I would agree. I still think it has its jankiness to it, and if you
compare that trailer to the last trailer we saw, was like, oh, that was a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I thought this game was like pretty dire, and they were going to shove it out of the door with not much more marketing and just be like, it is what it is. Take your 7 out of 10, take your 6 out of 10. Sorry, shit happened during the development, but it looks like it's gonna be better than that. Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's actually shaping up to be a pretty good looking game. And yeah, I know that Stalker has a pretty diehard fan base, so I just hope it kind of does some justice and scratches that itch for a lot of people, which I'm sure it will. And I've enjoyed a couple of the Metro games, and it's definitely giving that sort of vibe. So I think it has an audience with the Metro game lovers as well. So yeah, I think it has a place, and I think it's looking good.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. The last thing I suppose I want to call out was one of the third parties here. I think that really resonated with a lot of people that I've seen a lot of chatter about, and that's Mixtape. That it's coming from the same studio who made Artful Escape, which I played but sadly didn't get round to finishing. But I thought that game was brilliant.
I think I know what game that is.
It's, if you haven't played it again, it's very much up your alley.
Yeah, I think I've seen this game before. Yeah.
You'd really
been
like
meaning
it.
to.
It's so cool. It's just such a cool game. Like the dev of this game is like a cool dude. I don't know how else to say it. It's just a fucking cool game. It's got a lot of heart. It's really pretty. It is just an interactive drama side scroller. Uh, with some light gameplay elements, but it's a good one, man. And you can tell. I mean, those were the words I was trying to get out while we were watching this trailer, and I was like, it's the same dev as that game. I bet it's the same dev as that fucking game, and I couldn't remember that it was called The Artful Escape, which was on Game Pass a while back. And they seem to be again, absolutely crushing it with what they're going for here. Talking about like nostalgic music, of your childhood. In which case, for us, unfortunately, will be something like Chris Brown or something equally as offensive.
Oh god, that tickled me. Oops. Chris Brown.
Or fucking Superman. Now watch me. Ooh. So I think this is great. I'm excited for this. I'm glad it's going to be post day one.
Oh wow.
Soldier Boy. Oh, yeah.
You can just let it slide. Yeah. So I'm really think that looks good, and I can understand people's excitement there. Have we got anything else?
Not from me. I mean, I kind of wanted to touch on Dragon Age, but I feel like there's going to be. I feel like there's going to be controversy for that game for a while, so we could just talk about it next week.
Maybe. I mean, we've seen gameplay now, though, haven't we? So you can make a more rounded opinion.
Okay, fine.
For it.
I think it looks actually a lot better than people are giving it credit for. I think it looks fun, and I actually think it looks like it could tell a really cool high fantasy story. And I think the world is so pretty. Like, wow. That gameplay and where they were and the colors and the characters and just the whole vibe was very, very, very pretty. I am just not sure, if it's quite capturing that sort of Dragon Age feel, like the soul. It does feel like it's kind of had a bit of a shift.
The soul.
The soul. It hasn't quite. Yeah, I just feel like it's had a little bit of a shift, and I'm not 100% sure on that. But as not a diehard Dragon Age fan, and someone who doesn't swear by the first and the second and Inquisition and think they're God's gift to fucking Earth, I think it actually looks pretty fun. No, people. It didn't suck. People liked it, but yeah, not as much as the first. And then Inquisition was a bit hit and miss for some people, but overall pretty decent. But yeah, because I'm not like massively just hugely into Dragon Age as a whole, I actually think this looks all right. Yeah, I don't really have an issue with it. But yeah, I know that a lot of people were a little bit hesitant on it. So, which is a shame because BioWare need to win.
I really didn't like the trailer. And then I watched the gameplay and I was like, this gameplay looks like a different game. If I saw this game and I didn't see any characters or themes I didn't recognize, I wouldn't know it was a Dragon Age. I would have guessed anything other than Dragon Age. It didn't give me that vibe at all. And yeah, like you said, I mean, like it lost its soul. I don't know what soul it's got going on right now.
This soul
is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm largely in agreement with you guys. I didn't mind the CGI trailer so much. I thought it was quite fun. But I do think I think the gameplay looked good. I'm with you, Tim. The environmentally, it looked really knockout. It really looked good. But yeah, what did I say on the group chat? Like it kind of looked like Arkham Fantasy Edition in terms of like the combat. Like it's like Dragon Age always had that like a bit of flair to it, like a bit more of strategic flair. And I know they've got like the real time pause thing, but it's not like a lot of action games have that these days. It's basically a doom wheel. It's not like, I don't know. It feels like they've stripped away a layer of strategy there in favor of something more actiony, which is fine. That will find an audience, I think. But I think it's fair to sort of say that maybe it's not quite hitting all the same tones and themes that like the first did, or maybe even Inquisition, which was a bit more like gritty and it's the end of the world. And I endlessly complain that we don't need everything to be a dark fantasy, but in terms of it being part of the same DNA as the previous ones, I can understand the angle that it's like not quite hitting the same strokes for those people. But I think it looks good. I think it looks good. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a great game even. I think it will disgruntle some of the purist fan base, but I think it will be probably a good to great game.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right. I guess the final bits and bobs there. Yeah. Very quick shout out to Shattered Space. If that does well, I'm quite excited to play a bit more Starfield. We obviously had a drop on the day for the Creation Club and a quest and whatever. So cool. Yep. Cool. I hope they have a bit of success with that. To get sort of some more momentum on it rolling. And then we had the hardware announcements, which was a white diskless, and then with more storage space, and then a glittery disc with more storage space on the Series X. Yeah, that's it.
Woo!
Oh.
Woo! We did it.
Woo!
Xbox Game Showcase 2024.
Woo!
You're a bit far away, Tim. I can see you trying to just get there.
I'm edging out my room. Yeah, no, solid. I still, even after going through everything and revisiting it a little bit, I still stand by. I'm a solid 9 out of 10. Great show. Probably the best one ever for Xbox, probably. Right? I don't know.
I would say this is the best.
Great, yeah.
I never really paid attention when I was younger, like before the Xbox One generation. I would say this is the best showcase Xbox has had since the Xbox One generation. Yeah, which is over 10 years.
Yes.
And I would say it's not even really close.
Yeah, this one was pretty knockout compared to the rest, yeah.
Man, I know we're probably looking to like sort of wrap this up. Joaquin's just dropped something in the chat. A little breaking news: Assassin's Creed creators' new studio have signed their game with Xbox. There's a whole conversation piece here that I think warrants not rushing now because they've done this with a couple of studios. All of a sudden, they've like signed deals with like the Bulletstorm devs, People Can Fly, a Splinter group from what was the one? Rocksteady. So like the Batman devs spun off and made their own studio. Xbox signed a deal with them, and now they're saying like a team that spun off from the Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft, made their own studio. Xbox is signing a deal with them. So like I said, I think there's a discussion to be had there about why they're doing this, especially if they're considering going more multi-platform. I think there will still be room for exclusives, which I think is exactly why they're doing this. So yeah, let's not go into this in detail now. Thanks, Joaquin, for bringing it to my attention. I'll pop it in the notes for next week. But we're probably gonna look to wrap things up now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the longest show we've done in a while. Big round of applause to everyone for not passing out. We really kept the cards on the table.
We did. It's very good.
All right. So if you have enjoyed today's episode, please consider hitting the like button. Please consider subscribing. Please consider going over to your favorite podcast service and giving us a little rating. Please consider sending us money. Please consider voting for us in the upcoming election. Please consider unsubscribing from all your other podcasts in your and just subscribing to us. Please consider making a new 10 new YouTube accounts and subscribing to us with all of them.
I don't think you're talking to anyone at this point, Doc. Oh, thumbs up.
Yeah, you've just ended the stream.
Yeah, I ended it. Mate, I ended it half an hour ago.
Oh, shit, dude.
I just thought we'd have a little catch up,
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, then. Let's wrap this up, guys.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. Catch you next week.